Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and today we're going to take a look at the Daughters of Khaine. In this video we're going to talk about what Daughters of Khaine Warband is in Warcry, what it can do on the tabletop, and how it sort of works in a very brief description. We'll then take a look at some units we can use to start off our Daughters of Khaine Warband in Warcry, and then we'll take a look at other units to expand upon after those initial purchases with. Finally, we'll finish off the video with a little sample warband of 1000 renown for you to use some inspiration for creating your own Daughters of Khaine warband for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry. So with that said, you can find all the rules for your Daughters of Khaine free to download on warhammercommunity.com. You can go to the Warhammer Community website, go to the downloads section of that website, and under the Warcry tab you'll find a ton of different Warcry warbands rules are there for you to use. Now, the Daughters of Khaine, they are heavily offensive focused. They always want to be on the attack. You generally have quite cheap troops with the unit, and you've got some really cool leader units as well that will put out some rather powerful buffs and generally area affecting buffs, powering up your less than, I guess, stellar baseline troops. Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter are pretty flimsy for baseline troops, but they can get some serious offensive. You are definitely a glass cannon army if there ever was one. You've got some really cool reaction ability where you are allowed to deal damage to enemies who fail to land critical hits on you, and just deals a nice big flat 4 damage if your enemy fails to land a crit on you. Pretty solid stuff. It does take a little bit of gambling, but you've got cheap troops so you can make that gamble sometimes. And so to get started with, well, I think the Hag Queen and the Slaughter Queen are definitely two places to look to get started with the Daughters of Khaine. Now, both these models have a toughness of 3 and 18 wounds. The Slaughter Queen is slightly better with 5 attacks over 3. Both, though, have strength of 4 and 2/4 on their damage. Now they've got two unique rune marks. First of all, the Hag Queen is going to be able to use Witch Brute for a double. You can pick a visible friendly fighter within 3 inch of the Hag Queen, and until the end of the battle round, you add the value of this ability to the strength characteristic of the next melee attack action made by the target model. On the opposite, you've got the quad on the Slaughter Queen for Orgy of Slaughter. Until the end of the battle round, you add half the value of this ability to damage points allocated to enemy fighters by each critical hit from melee actions made by friendly fighters whilst they're within 8 inch of this fighter. So some really nice powerful buff abilities. The Hag Queen only targeting one model but only requiring a double, while the Slaughter Queen can really put out some critical hit bonuses to a large area. Going alongside these models, we have Witch Elves, and they can come in 2 different varieties. So you can either have the Witch Elf with paired Scansers, or the Witch Elf with a Scanser and Bladed Buckler. The difference here being you'll get that extra point of defense on the Bladed Buckler, much like any shield you can in Warcry, but you'll get an extra attack if you go with the paired Scansers. Regardless, you've got 8 wounds on either model, and you've got 3 attacks on the Bladed Buckler and Scanser wielding one, or 4 on the paired Scansers, both at strength 3 and 1/3 on the damage. Both of them come in at 65 renown, so it's really personal preference. I think that defensive 4 can really come in handy when you've only got 8 wounds. Having that slightly higher defense can be really good for using these models as some good objective grabbers. But where do we go to next for the Daughters of Khaine? Sisters of Slaughter come inside the same box set as the Witch Elves, and they're definitely a unit worth considering. You've got a couple of variations, either with the Cruel Lash and Sacrificial Knife, or the Cruel Lash and the Bladed Buckler. Much the same, the Bladed Buckler will provide an extra point of defense, and you get an extra attack if you go with a 2 melee weapon option, but you will be still a defense 3 at that point. Coming in at 75 points for the Bladed Buckler, or 80 points for the dual weapon wielding. Both of them have a 2-inch reach as well, and get an extra point of damage on their crit value, so there'll be 1/4 on that crit value. So really here is personal preference. You will be paying slightly more for a Sister of Slaughter than you will be for a Witch Elf. Generally, they are going to be very similar in the roles that they provide for your warband. Now, another hero to consider is the Bloodrank Medusa. I think this is a really cool piece to add into your Daughters of Khaine force. First of all, a base toughness of 4 is really nice, and 35 wounds, making this a really hard to take down piece, which can be really good in an army where you do have lots of glass cannons. You've got a 2-inch range on its weapon with 4 attacks at strength 4 and 3/5 on the damage, giving you some consistent hitting power. And you've also got access to the triple blood rack stare, where you pick a visible enemy fighter within a number of inches of this fighter equal to the value of this ability and roll 2 dice. If either dice is a 3+, until the end of the battle round, that fighter cannot make move actions or disengage actions. In addition, for each 6, you allocate a number of damage points equal to the fighter to the value of this ability to the enemy fighter. So you can really play around with some movement shenanigans, stopping your opponent being able to move if you can get that 3-up, or indeed just dealing some straight out nasty damage with that triple. Looking into some more Melusai to join our Blood Rack Medusa, and I think Blood Sisters are really cool. You've got Blood Stalkers in there as well, which are definitely a unit to consider for your force with your Heartseeker ability, but I do like the Blood Stalkers. You can pick a visible enemy fighter within 6 inches of this fighter and roll 2 dice. For each roll of a 4 or 5, you allocate 1 damage point to the fighter, and for each 6, allocate a number of damage points equal to the fighter with their attacks. Heartseekers have the triple available to them of the Melusai. This is the ranged weapon wielding Melusai unit, and you can potentially do damage points equal to the value of this ability, but if you score 1 or more hits, but that is all you get to do with that one. For me, an interesting unit to pick up is the Doomfire Warlocks. They'll also have a triple, and I slightly think it's a better triple than the Heartseekers triple. So you've got Doomfire Bolt, where you pick an enemy fighter visible and within 9 inch of the Doomfire Warlock, and you roll a number of dice equal to the value of its ability. For each 4+, allocate 2 damage points to that fighter. This is really cool. Doomfire Warlocks generally aren't going to be as normally good, with the Bloodstalker getting 2 shots at strength 3, 1, 5 on the damage. You've only got 2 shots at strength 3, 1, 3 on the damage with the Warlock, but you do get a couple of extra hits in combat. For me, I just like a Doomfire Warlock. I think if you can get that high triple on this ability and then roll, average, you're going to be doing some pretty decent damage with that model. And so here we have our sample Warband for you for the Daughters of Khaine. Now we've gone with the 3 leaders, the Bloodrack Medusa being the champion, just making her the hardest model to remove. Hat Queen and Slaughter Queen in there for their abilities, really making sure we can make use of all the abilities we're going to get in our Warband. We then have 3 objective grabbers for the army, with 2 Witch Elves with Scanzer and Bladed Bucklers, and then a Sister of Slaughter with Croup Lash and Bladed Buckler as well. Lastly, we've got a Blood Sister and a Doomfire Warlock in there as some more heavy hitters for the force. The Doomfire Warlock is a great utility piece. Cavalry got such a boost in the new edition of Warcry. They can now climb upstairs and stuff like that, which really makes them a lot more useful. It's fast moving, meaning it can be great at grabbing objectives and treasure around the table for you. 1,000 out of 1,000 renown spent, and 133 wounds is on the slightly higher average range of a Warband's wounds count. What do you think of Daughter Khaine in the new edition of Warcry? Let us know what you think down in the comments below. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, drop us a comment down below in the comments section and let us know what you enjoyed about the video and what you'd like to see more of on the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here we have at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked in the video's description. Also linked in the video's description is our Patreon and YouTube members, where you can go to help support the channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, Kenny Lauer, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek, and Giappy390, and to our YouTube members: Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain. And lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all for watching. Once again, stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now, everyone.